AEC is automatic exposure control, and it was introduced in 1942 by Russell H. Morgan. It was programmed to terminate exposure time, and it only controls time. The function of an AEC is that it measures preset amount of radiation and breaks the timer circuit when a dose sufficient to produce the desired exposure has been released.
What is involved when using AEC? Ionization chambers, determining configurations, density controls, exposure technique charts, positioning skills, subject density and contrast problems, collimation, timing problems, anatomically programmed radiography, APR, and creative positioning.
What are ionization chambers? They are a thin parallel plate located immediately above the IR, and it's critical for the radiographer to know the exact size, shape, and position of the ionization chambers. And they're usually used in a 3-chamber configuration. It is about 5 millimeters in thickness, therefore it doesn't cause a large shadow on the image. Ionization chambers measure the exposure to the receptor, and the purpose is for the radiographer not to have to set the exposure time. There are some downfalls, which include the radiographer losing control over time, and they also lose control over mass. They also become dependent on the AEC and use it on exams that it's not meant for. This is the sequence of the X-ray beam. First, it goes through the patient with proper positioning and proper shielding. Then it goes to ionization chambers, and finally the imaging receptor where the image is captured. Determining the configuration for ionization chambers can be difficult to locate. Some manufacturers provide plastic inserts for collimators that project an image of the chamber location, size, and shape. If there aren't any inserts provided, the radiographer can find ionization chambers by producing an image without the body part and using very low kVp for maximum contrast. Controlling configurations. AEC consoles permits different combinations of ionization chambers to be activated in order to control the exposure. For example, you can activate 1, 2, or all 3 and up to 7 different combinations of the 3 chambers. Averaging is the signal from the cells that are sent to special operational amplifiers, and it sums the voltages from each cell and divides by the number of cells that are activated. When the correct voltage after exposure is reached, operational amplitude terminates the exposure. More than one cell is activated, the cell receiving the most radiation contributes the most electrical signal. Therefore, it has the most influence on overall exposure. For example, when all 3 cells are activated and abdomen is positioned with barium over one cell and the normal tissue over the other 2 cells, the final image will be slightly overexposed because the operational amplifier was dividing the incoming voltage by all 3 cells, but only 2 were contributing to the signal. More than controls allow the adjustment of the amount of radiation necessary to send the exposure termination signal. Controls have different labels, single density, major, and minor controls, based on each manufacturer. AEC systems are designed to control kVp changes automatically. When configuration of ionization chambers cannot be adapted to necessary positioning, proper use of density controls is accomplished. AEC requires the use of exposure technique charts, which specify technical parameters to be used. AEC fulfills the cell locations and sets the time automatically. AEC will produce diagnostic exposure for whatever tissue is placed directly over the chamber, and it's important to position the body part directly over the chamber. Good positioning produces quality results, but bad positioning increases the repeat rate. When not enough of the body part positioned over activated ionization chambers, the AEC cell will attempt to produce diagnostic quality exposure for whatever is over it. AEC problems occur whenever an unexpected density is present, or when expected density is lacking. An example is breast implants would be more dense. Collimation. When it's too small, the AEC will think the part is dense, and therefore it will be overexposed. But if the collimation is too wide, there will be scatter radiation which undercuts the patient, therefore causing AEC to end the exposure, meaning the image will be underexposed. Visual reaction and response time is determined by length of time necessary for AEC to respond to radiation and for the generator to end the exposure. Delay is caused by turn-off delay in high-voltage circuits. Backup timing. Manual backup time can be set for units that have AEC. AECs can also be improperly set, for example, forgetting to activate the AEC in the wall unit. Also, backup times can't go over tube limit and should be set at 150% of anticipated manual exposure in mass. Here are some additional problems with using AEC. AEC sometimes is incapable of ending exposures fast enough. It might not be able to image small body parts, and there's also AEC dependence. Anatomically programmed radiography. There are pre-programmed techniques for any given body part or exam. These are only suggestions for technique and should be customized for each patient. Positioning. When AEC cells are not completely covered by the tissue, care must be taken. If a cell is partially covered by the tissue, deactivation of the cell is recommended. However, if no cells are covered by normal tissue, creative technique must be used. Only experienced radiographers should attempt these techniques.